The function called tan has an inverse function, which we have different notations for. The most popular notation is tan with superscript -1, and that is the one that you see on most calculators. On this Casio calculator, we can see it here. To access it, you press Shift and then the tan key, and you'll see that just above that you see tan superscript -1. So that's called inverse tan. But it's also called arctan or atan in some pieces of software, including OneNote and Excel, which we also use in this course. So just to show an example of how this is used, there's three examples here. In the first triangle, we have a 25-degree angle, and the ratio of the opposite to the adjacent side is 0.47 divided by 1, which will be 0.47. So here's how you would do that in OneNote. You could just type tan brackets 25 spacebar equals spacebar, and it gives you the ratio. Here it's not exactly 0.47, it's 0.466307 and so on. And that's because the diagram was copied from GeoGebra, which rounded off the values. So the exact value is actually the one that's being shown here by OneNote. To see this on the calculator, we'll type tan 25. I've already checked that the calculator is in degree mode, and we get the same number that OneNote was giving us. What if you were working the other way around and you wanted to know what the angle was? Say you didn't know what the angle was, then how would you get it? Well, in OneNote, that uses the atan notation for the inverse function. So we would type atan and then the ratio, and the ratio is 0.47. And that gives us 25 degrees. And using the calculator, you would use Shift tan and then type the ratio, and that should give you back the angle in degrees, and it does, 25 degrees approximately. Okay, so let's just look at another example. Here's a 45-degree angle. This diagram has obviously a slope, or the hypotenuse has a slope of 1. So the tan ratio should be equal to 1, and it is. And if we were to use the inverse tan function, which we get using atan in OneNote, it gives us 45 degrees. And on the calculator, if we were to do tan 45 degrees, that would give us 1. And if we did second function, or shift tan of 1, that would give us back the 45-degree angle. There's just one further example here. It's a much taller triangle, a 60-degree angle this time. Let's type tan 60 equals, and we get 1.73 approximately, which is the same as we're getting from the diagram from GeoGebra. 1.73 compared to 1, that's a ratio of 1.73. And then on the calculator, we're looking at tan of 60 degrees would be, again, the same value. And if we did shift tan to get second function of 1.73, that should give us about 60 degrees. Okay, so that's how to use the inverse tan function in OneNote and on a calculator.